What if the pilot of the Enola Gay had refused to drop the atomic bomb on Hiroshima? Colonel Paul Tibbets spent weeks preparing for the mission that would change history. On August 6, 1945, he flew toward Japan carrying Little Boy, the first atomic weapon used in warfare. But what if, at the last moment, he had disobeyed orders? Tibbets would face immediate court-martial and execution for treason. A replacement crew would scramble, delaying the mission by days or weeks. Japan might have surrendered naturally, saving hundreds of thousands of lives. But without demonstrating atomic power, the Cold War would have unfolded completely differently. Stalin would never have seen America's nuclear capability. One pilot's conscience could have rewritten the entire post-war world.
Okay, I think the video is self-explanatory to say the least in terms of the way how it was conveyed. But I just want to say and add more to it, which is, even if that was the case, yeah, you would have been court-martialed, kicked out of the army, arrested, possibly for disobeying orders. But all in all, if he didn't do it as per to drop the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I think things would have been fundamentally different in terms of the way how the world, or the modern era would have began in the post-World War. Pretty much it's really a what if that's really necessary or in somewhat impactful. Well, not necessary, but impactful to say the least.
What if the most dangerous man in Soviet history had seized power after Stalin's death? Lavrenti Beria controlled the secret police and knew every nuclear secret. When Stalin died in March 1953, Beria made his move for total control. He commanded the NKVD, had files on everyone, and understood atomic weapons better than any leader. But his rivals acted first, arresting him before he could consolidate power. If Beria had succeeded, the world would have faced something far worse than Stalin: a sexual predator with nuclear weapons and unlimited surveillance power. The Cold War would have escalated into actual nuclear conflict. Soviet terror would have continued for decades longer. His intelligence networks could have conquered nations through blackmail alone. Instead of eventual reform, we'd have faced permanent totalitarian nightmare. One power struggle changed everything. Beria's failure may have saved civilization itself.
Okay, this one is a bit different, but all in all, somewhat true, but never really came into fruition, merely because by the time Stalin passed away in 1953, Lavrenti Beria, Stalin's second right hand, in a way, or his equivalent to Germany's Himmler, was in more or less so at the height of his power, as per establishing control still over the security apparatus of the Soviet Union during that particular time. By the time Stalin, passed, Lavrenti Beria assumed that he had the opportunity to solidify his hold within the party apparatus within the Soviet Union. Thereby, he can cajole his way into power with no issues whatsoever. But what he didn't realize, due to his arrogance and his reluctance to not see the bigger picture, is that his rivals, others, Stalin's associates and subordinates, were planning moves against him, in which case his downfall began in record pace within a short matter of weeks rather than years.